When you talk about all-time great Boston Bruins, names like Bobby Orr, Zdeno Chara, and Patrice Bergeron show up. And for good reason, but this isn't another debate about who is the GOAT. This is about the three players, to me, who have defined what it means to be a Boston Bruin. It's a personal opinion about a talent who revolutionized the sport, a captain with a big heart, as big as his frame, and a leader who mastered all the little things. These are my top three favorite Boston Bruins of all time. To me, hockey has always been more than a game. It's about passion, identity, and the players who become a part of your story. The guys on this list aren't just here for the big plays or highlight reels, even though they are incredible. They are here because of the standard they set, the way they make me feel, and how they embodied everything it means to be a Boston Bruin. They come from different eras and all had different styles, but they all have one thing in common. They all left a legacy and an impact on the Bruins franchise. This is a trip down memory lane. Let's look at the three players who, to me, shaped the black and gold of the Boston Bruins. Coming in at number 3 is Zdeno Chara, or as they call him in Boston, Big Z. You can't talk about the modern era of Bruins hockey in the late 2010s without Zdeno Chara. When Chara signed with Boston back in 2006, the Bruins were in a tough spot. They had just traded the captain Joe Thornton to the San Jose Sharks and were looking for new leadership. In a move that was unspeculated, the Bruins named Zdeno Chara captain before he even played a single game for them. It was a clear signal to the fan base that things were about to change for the better for the Black and Gold Brigade. And boy, did it ever change, I know, as a Habs fan. For the next 14 seasons, Zdeno Chara didn't just wear the C, he was the captain. He led by example with a work ethic that was just legendary. You hear teammates say how no one could outwork Zdeno Chara, and he forced everyone around him to be better. He was the ultimate measuring stick at the time of what it meant to be a Bruin. At 6'9", he was the tallest player in NHL history, and he was very intimidating for opposing fans and players alike, which set him up good in an intimidating town like Boston. But his impact went beyond the ice. It was about heart and the sacrifices he made, like in 2019 when he played with a broken jaw, made him show what it meant to be a Bruin. He also had a wicked slap shot. He won the hardest shot competition a bunch of times. And in 2012, he hit a puck 108 miles per hour. I would hate to be a goalie then. Following as the heart of the team, we have number 2, in my opinion, Patrice Bergeron. He defied professionalism, humility, and two-way hockey. Patrice Bergeron. If Chara was the towering heart, Bergeron was the brilliant mind and steady conscience. For 19th season, he wore the spook bee, and the only spook bee, a kind of loyalty you just don't get in modern sports. While other legends finished their careers in other jerseys, like Bergeron was a Bruin from the start to the finish. Bergeron was special, but not just because of what he did, but how he did it. He was a quiet leader who led by example every single shift. When Zdeno Chara left the Bruins, there was zero doubt who would become the next captain. Bergeron stepped in the role perfectly, having already been a leader in the locker room for more than a decade. He built a culture of respect and selfishness, making every single player feel like they belong. On the ice, he was simply one of the greatest two-way forwards in Bruins history. He broke a record. That's a fact, right? broken by his 6 Selke trophies in the league's best offensive forward. He didn't just win it 6 times, he was a finalist for the award for 12 straight seasons. For over a decade, he was consistently one of the best in the world at the toughest parts of the game. His skill in the faceoff center was legendary, and his defense was the backbone of the team. But he also was very clutch, as seen in the 2011 Stanley Cup Final against the Canucks. He scored 2 goals, including the game winner that clinched Boston its first championship since the 70s. And like Chara, he was known to play through immaculate playing. In the 2013 Stanley Cup Final, he played with a broken rib and a punctured lung. If you're enjoying this content in the stripped down memory lane for Bruins fans, be sure to hit like and subscribe for more NHL content as we move on to my number 1 favorite Boston Bruin, a man I wish I could have seen play, Bobby Orr. It's almost impossible to put into words the impact Orr had on the Bruins, but the entire sport of hockey. He didn't just play the game, he completely changed it. Yep, before Bobby Orr, defensemen stayed back in the zone, period. They wouldn't dare to defend. Bobby Orr said, "Fuck that," and threw that book in the garbage. He played with a speed and elegance nobody ever seen from a defenseman. His end-to-end rushes were legacy, and he weaved through entire teams to create scoring chances. He turned the defenseman position into an offensive weapon. He's the only defenseman in NHL history to win the Ross, which is impressive, as the league's leading scorer, and he did it twice. In 70-71, he put up a insane 139 points, a record for defenseman that still remains untouchable today. His offensive stats were wild, but he was just as dominant in his own zone, winning a record 8 straight Norris trophies as the league's best defenseman. And then there's one of the most iconic goals in NHL history. May 10th, 1970, Mother's Day Game 4 against the Stanley Cup Final. 40 seconds into overtime, Orr got a pass and slips a pass by goalie Gen Hall and gets trips and it looks like he's flying through the air. It's everything. What makes Orr an even bigger hero is his character. Despite being arguably the greatest ever, in some people's opinions, he's been always humble. He's been giving credit to his teammates, from the 70 team being inducted on his statue outside TD Garden. Bobby Orr is my number 1 favorite Bruin because of peak talent and innovation. So there you have it, my top 3 favorite Boston Bruins. The towering heart is in Daniel Chara, who rebuilt a culture and led the Bruins back to glory. The quiet leadership of Patrice Bergeron, the picture of consistency and character for almost 2 decades, and the revolutionary skill of Bobby Orr, the player who changed hockey forever and gave us one of the most iconic moments in sports history. Now I want to hear from you. This is my top 3 favorite players, but but hockey is all about passion and debate. Drop your 3 favorite Bruins in the comment below, and I can't wait to hear and see what you all say. Peace.